Welcome to another edition of Chaos Predicts, because it's time. It's time. UFC 128 live and in living color on pay-per-view. Can't wait for this. 5 matches, 5 fights, excuse me. 1 title fight. Light heavyweight title bout. We'll get to that in just a second, but let me run down the card first. You got Jim Miller versus somebody who Jim Miller. I don't care. I'm not even going there. There's a heavyweight title bout. Mirko Cro Cop versus Brandon Schwab. Now look, this right here is going to be the biggest test for Brandon Schwab's entire career, which has only spanned like 9 fights. Now, Mirko was coming off a loss to Frank Mir last September. Keep in mind that Mirko has never... yes, he has. One time, he lost 2 fights in a row. Back in, I believe it was 2007. I don't see it happening. Mirko needs this more. Well, I think Mirko needs this more because he needs a way back at the in contention for the title. Brandon's gonna have other opportunities, but Mirko, he's getting older. He's got a lot of fights. I'm just saying, I think Mirko needs this more. I'm going Mirko Cro Cop. The middleweight title bout, or excuse me, what the hell am I? The middleweight bout. This is gonna be one of those that's gonna, depending on who wins it, is gonna put back into maybe talk for title contention, or maybe another title eliminator. Nate Marquardt versus Dan Miller. This fight was originally scheduled to be Nate Marquardt versus Yoshihiro Akiyama, but because of the tsunami and earthquakes and things that happened in Japan, Akiyama pulled out last minute, and Dan Miller, Dana White bumped Dan Miller up from the prelims and put him in this fight to replace him. So we'll see how good of a decision that was. I think that pretty much just gives Marquardt an easier night, but that's the way I feel. By the way, I'm going Marquardt. You look at both guys' resumes, and there's 3 fights that stand out for me for Dan Miller. The fight against first Chael Sonnen, and then Damian Maia, and then Michael Bisping, and he lost all 3 of them. Marquardt is on that same level to me as those 3 guys, even probably more so than Sonnen and Maia, even though he lost to Sonnen and beat Maia. But he's on that same wavelength, and I just don't think Dan Miller can hang. That's just me. Moving on. You got the bantamweight bout, and I believe this is going to be a title eliminator as well. I don't have confirmation of that, but I think that's probably what Dana's going to use this as. Whoever wins this is probably going to get the next shot at the belt. So I'm going to say that it's going to be Uriah Faber. I think in his UFC debut, his official UFC debut, that you're not going to be able to keep him from impressing and doing what he needs to do to win this fight. And plus, I can't go against Faber because he's one of my favorite guys, MMA-wise anyway. The light heavyweight title fight, I've got Shogun beating Jon Bones Jones. And I love Jon Jones's fighting style. I love the way he kind of does things in the cage, but the experience for one, and taking the fight on such short notice for a title fight, I don't think you need to take such a short notice. I don't think you need to take less than 6 weeks notice on any fight. Dan Hardy proved me wrong last year, saying, hey, I can come in on less than 6 week notice and win 2 fights. And he did. And it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. But Johnny Bones Jones ain't going to do it. Sorry, guys. So everybody that's betting and putting money on Johnny Bones Jones, it's not going to happen because Rua is going to beat him. Also, I just want to make one thing clear. When before you win a title, if you're already signing autographs as the champion, as signing champ with your name, you're a douchebag, and you're gonna get your head knocked off. At least I hope. So that's the card. That's the predictions. Make sure to be on the lookout for the review video, and I will tell you how right or wrong I am, like I always do, because I'm always right. Now, that's coming up this Sunday, but April 30th, mark your calendars. It's going to be one of the biggest UFC events ever. It's going to be UFC 129. You've got George St. Pierre, the welterweight champion of the world, versus Jake Shields. And a lot of people is doing the same thing with that fight. If they're doing this, they're thinking there's going to be a new champion. I just don't see it. I can go ahead and predict that one right now. It's going to be GSP. Which begs the question, are we ever going to see GSP versus Anderson Silva? The two best fighters in the world. Only time will tell. You guys be good. I'm saying peace out, because chaos